Hello, welcome to Shemyaza's Arcane Atlas. I'm your host, Shemyaza. You can call me Shem. My pronouns are he, him. I'm 25, and this is my first ever video. I'm excited to be here with you. My goal with this channel is to explain and share my character lore and world building. I hope some of you enjoy it as much as I do. The goal of this episode, my first episode, is to get into my main antagonist and explain a little bit about my world. It is called Angora, and also the creatures that inhabit it. If you enjoy any of this or want to see more, feel free to like and subscribe. Any comments, questions, or concerns, leave a comment. Angora is a magically protected island continent inspired by ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, Rome, and Greece. It is a harsh land where survival of the fittest reigns, inhabited by diverse magical creatures, gods, and warring empires. The continent is divided between two ruling factions. The Golden Queen governs part of Angora with compassion and order, abolishing slavery and establishing laws through her enforcers. Empress Sekhmet of the Luxortian Empire rules the other half with violence and oppression, enforcing draconic supremacy and slave-based rule. Angora is a brutal, magic-dominated world where strength determines survival and gods walk among mortals. The majority worship the Angoran gods of Zadria, with atheism being outlawed and punished in most cases. Magic is far more common than technology, replacing technology in most aspects. It is governed by 12 elemental forces, with rare powers like chaos, space, and time reserved for prophets and prodigies. Society is shaped by conflict, slavery, and gladiatorial monster fights in the Colossus of Era, while the Academy of Acadia, founded by the Golden Queen, provides education in both magic and science. Meanwhile, the Luxortian Empire, ruled by Empress Sekhmet, is a ruthless matriarchal dragon society where females hold absolute power and humans are enslaved, including Stark, her unwilling human consort. Her reign of terror does eventually end when her son, Aten, challenges and defeats her, bringing long-awaited peace to the empire. Sekhmet is a towering, merciless dragon empress, ruling the Luxortian Empire with an iron claw and bloodied fangs. She is ruthless, cunning, and insatiable in her hunger for power, leading endless conquests across Angora to expand her dominion. Unlike most rulers who wield armies like chess pieces, Sekhmet revels in battle, often taking to the front lines herself, entering battle nearly naked, her second heart crystal pulsing with arcane energy. Sekhmet is not just feared for her military genius and overwhelming strength, but for her twisted ideology. She sees men and humans as livestock, creatures to be conquered, enslaved, and bred for the pleasure of the draconic elite. She enforces a strict matriarchal hierarchy, where female dragons rule absolutely, and males, especially human men, are reduced to property. Her most infamous possession is Stark, her human consort, a man she has forcibly wed, seeing his suffering as entertainment. Sekhmet embodies the unyielding, primal brutality of Angora, the raw essence of power that thrives in the survivalist landscape. She is a goddess in her own mind, believing that Hydroxia, the war goddess, has chosen her as the ultimate warrior queen, despite the goddess herself showing no favor towards her sacrifices. Her reign is a reign of absolute domination, but it is not eternal. Her own son, Aten, destined to be greater than her, ultimately challenges and slays her, ending centuries of martial law, slavery, and unchecked bloodshed. Sekhmet is not just a tyrant, she is a force of nature, a beast that burns too bright, too fast, utterly consumed by her own unquenchable thirst for conquest. Aten, her surviving son, wants to and eventually succeeds in killing his mother. Through a challenge, a duel to the death, Aten takes the crystal heart of his mother and rips it from her chest in a cold, gruesome display of strength. Now for something lighter. I really designed Sekhmet when I was pretty young. Honestly, her design has stayed generally the same since I first designed her at around like 15 years old or so. I wanted an aggressive woman, someone who I could recognize as undeniably female, but make her dark, as twisted, and as gruesome as any male villain could be and often do look like. I wanted to make a woman who could just be, just as nasty as a man. And for her inspiration, as you can tell, she is inspired by the Egyptian goddess Sekhmet. She is a powerful warrior goddess, naturally. I love her. I love strong ladies. It's even said she can breathe fire, so, had to make her a dragon, basically. I mean, she's not Sekhmet from the mythos at all or from the religion, but just that inspiration is definitely there. I really wanted to make Sekhmet look distinct, monstrous, really apart from all the other Angoran characters and peoples. So she's a strong one to start with for sure. She's tall, massive. Luxor women, dragon women, they're generally taller than average human, but Sekhmet really breaks the ceiling here at a good 9'9". She has cloven hooves to lend to a more devilish inspiration, but instead of a thin devil tail, I gave her a fat, muscular tail she can use in battle. And on for her more obvious traits, her face and her arm. Bit of a lore dump here. Back when she was in her 200s, which is around 20 years old for a human, she became obsessed with the idea of gaining the favor of the war goddess Hydroxia. In a desperate bid for attention, she dipped herself and many slaves into the lava pools of Da'or, a mystical volcano under the Earth's crust. It did burn her arm off and mutilated her face. She keeps one eye pinned open just to prove her strength, insane pain tolerance, and general insanity. So for the Luxor Empire, the Luxortian Empire is ruled by Empress Sekhmet, a ruthless and militaristic dragon tyrant who enforces absolute dominance through fear and slavery. In Luxortian society, females reign supreme, their sheer size, strength, and power cementing their rule over males and lesser species. Humans are pretty rare in Angora, and in the Empire they are little more than livestock, their fate sealed as slaves, none more infamous than Stark, Sekhmet's unwilling human husband and the father of her 12 children. Fortunately, her brutal reign does not last forever. Her own son, Aten, ultimately rises against her, defeats her, and ends the age of tyranny, ushering in a long-awaited peace. Beyond the Empire, Angora thrives as a vast and magically diverse land, home to thousands of races. But even here, conflict festers. The dragon hunters, a dwindling yet relentless warrior tribe, still seek to eradicate dragons, vowing to extinguish their kind from existence. This story was generated and written in part by ChatGPT 4.5, edited by me, Shem, and read by me, Shem. You grip the obsidian stylus tightly, knuckles aching from endless hours carving Empress Sekhmet's bloody declarations into cold stone. The chamber is lit only by enchanted flames, casting long flickering shadows across the walls, which seem to dance like mocking demons. You feel the vibrations in the stone first, a distant rumble that sends a chill down your spine, one far deeper than the chill of stone beneath your fingertips. You pause, ink dripping unnoticed onto the tablet. The tremors grow stronger, faster, shouts echoing through the corridors, voices screaming that Prince Aten has returned. Heart pounding, you rush to the courtyard, unable to resist witnessing history unfold. Sekhmet, towering and terrible, awaits her challenger, with narrowed eyes glowing like red-hot embers. Aten stands before her, powerful, fierce, and unyielding, hatred blazing in his expression. The air grows thick with tension. You hold your breath, unsure who will strike first. The battle erupts violently, a whirlwind of savage strength and primal rage. Claws clash, sparks dance, and magic crackles with explosive fury. Sekhmet, always dominant, now struggles against the overwhelming might and passion of her son. Your heart races as Aten, in a moment of reckless defiance, lunges at his mother's chest, not to wound, but to claim her crystal, the sacred heart of her draconic essence. You watch in stunned horror as Aten digs his claws deep into her flesh, ripping free her crystal heart along with the organ beneath. Blood and liquid magic gush from the wound in a vibrant torrent, splattering across the stone in a grotesque display of desecration. Sekhmet collapses, her body spasming, eyes wide in shock, betrayal, and rage. Dragons do not do this. Their crystals are sacred, untouchable, but Aten's hatred has no limits. The courtyard falls deathly silent. Not even a gasp breaks the eerie quiet as the crowd watches their Empress die. You could run. You could finally taste freedom, yet something holds you. Perhaps the weight of history or a deeper curiosity. Your breath comes in shallow, ragged pulls as Aten turns to the stunned audience, raising the bloodied crystal high above his head. His voice booms through the silence, clear, authoritative, and unmistakably victorious. I am your ruler now. As the crowd finally erupts into cautious applause, you turn silently back to your chamber. The obsidian tablet awaits, its smooth surface demanding words. With trembling hands, you lift your stylus once more, carving history's final judgment. Sekhmet, Empress of Blood, fell to her son's hatred, and the Empire breathed free once again. And that brings us to the end of our journey into the brutal and magical world of Angora, exploring the twisted reign and spectacular fall of Empress Sekhmet. We dove deep into her ruthless empire, her ferocious personality, and witnessed the epic climax, wink wink, of her violent legacy. Thank you so much for joining me on my first ever video. I truly hope you enjoyed exploring Angora as much as I love sharing it. If you like this dive into Angora's lore, please leave a like, subscribe, and definitely comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, and what you're most excited to explore next. Speaking of what's next, in our upcoming video, we'll take a closer look at the mysterious Academy of Acadia and its guilds. So stick around, there's plenty more magic to uncover. Thanks again for watching Shemyaz's Arcane Atlas. Until next time.